I'm John Matthews, Executive Director of Law Enforcement Initiatives at the National Law Enforcement Memorial and Museum. As many of you know, our mission at the memorial is to honor the fallen. But what you may not know are all of our efforts to keep names off of the wall. And we do that through our Destination Zero and Officer Safety and Wellness programs. Unfortunately, all too many of our peers have had their lives cut short by health-related issues. So here, as part of our Destination Zero program, we recognize the need for officers to stay both physically fit and mentally resilient. At Destination Zero, and in partnership with our sponsor, 511 Tactical, we've compiled a series of videos that demonstrate how law enforcement agencies across the nation are motivating their officers to stay physically and emotionally healthy. So each morning during Police Week, we're highlighting various programs ranging from physical fitness to yoga and meditation to mindfulness to keep officers physically and mentally resilient. So now I invite you to wake up, work out, and get healthy.
Bench press. Your body position will be eyes in front of the bar, feet flat on the floor, both hands clasp the bar with a full thumb wrap. A 3-inch high sponge is secured to the bar and must make contact with the chest when the weight is lowered. Hips and back must remain in contact with the bench during the entire lift. Feet must remain flat on the floor during the entire lift. An administrator positioned on either side of the bar will assist to unrack and re-rack the bar during all lifts. One warm-up lift is required prior to attempting a lift for points. The weight of this warm-up lift must be lower than the weight required to obtain a 9-point value. Lower the bar until contact is made with a 3-inch sponge. From the down position, the bar is raised towards the ceiling until a full yet soft extension of the elbows is obtained. The test is over when there have been 2 failed lifts or the 11-point threshold is met. Sit-ups. There is a 1-minute time limit. Feet flat on the floor, no wider than hips width apart, and secured by an administrator. Knees are bent at a 90-degree or tighter angle, buttocks closer to the feet. Hands are overlapped and placed behind the head. Fingers may not be interlocked. Start in the down position. Elbows must cross the vertical plane of the kneecaps to complete the up position. Shoulder blades must contact the floor to complete the down position. Resting in the down position is not allowed and will result in immediate failure. Resting within the 1-minute time limit is allowed in the up position only. Sit-ups are performed until the 11-point threshold is met or until the 1-minute time limit is reached. 300-meter run. Line up at the start line. Run 300 meters on the administrator's command to begin. Entire body must cross the finish line. Running outside the designated lanes or boundaries or shortening the curves will result in an automatic failure on the test event. Push-ups. There's a 2-minute time limit. Shirts and other loose clothing are tucked in. Start in the up position. Hands placed approximately beneath the shoulders. In the down position, the thumbs should be within the radius of the shoulder joint. Body position should form a straight line through the head, shoulders, hips, and feet, and should remain as such throughout the entire motion. Feet together are no wider than hips width apart. The outside of the feet may not exceed the width of the hips. A 3-inch high sponge is placed and secured on the ground by an administrator at chest level. Body is lowered until the chest contacts the sponge. Contact must be felt and heard by the administrator. The lower part of the body, knees, hips, etc., may not make contact with the floor at any time. Body is raised until a full but soft extension of the elbows is reached. Locking out of the elbows is not advised. Resting is allowed in the up position only. During arrest, a pike position is allowed, but hands and feet must remain in contact with the floor at all times. Push-ups are performed until the 11-point threshold is met or until the 2-minute time limit is reached. The 1.5 mile run. Line up at the start line. On the administrator's command to begin, a 1.5 mile distance is covered. Walking, jogging, running, or any combination thereof may be used through the duration of the test so long as the appropriate distance is covered. Entire body must cross the finish line. Running outside the designated lanes and boundaries or shortening of the curves will result in an automatic failure on the test event.
Hi, I'm Donna Horton, the Wellness Coordinator for the Lexington Police Department. In anticipation of National Police Week, we want to give you guys a glimpse of what we do here with the Lexington Police Department as it pertains to fitness. We're going to look at a few exercises: the snatch, the box jump, burpees, and a nice farmer walk to engage our abs. Stay tuned. All right now, hips through. There you go, good set in the hips. Good, come on. Hips through. Good, good, good. 2 more, come on. Hips through. Good feet, good. 1 more. Nice. Good job. Good. Good. Here we go. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep working. Keep working. Come on. Come on. Keep working. Keep working. Keep working. Finish it. Finish it. Finish it. Finish it. Nice. Abs engaged. Soft feet. There you go. Stay tall. Good. Engage the abs. Keep the abs engaged. Good. 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 Core engaged. Soft feet. Soft feet. Soft feet. Control the weight. Nice and tall. Hips are through. Hips are through.
Hello, I'm Jason Newton with the Colorado Springs Police Department here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm currently a sergeant and I oversee the Community Relations Unit. So if you can imagine, in 2019 I took over the unit. 2020 was definitely an interesting year for us, where basically from one day we were heroes to the next day basically a switch was flipped and we became villains. And so with that came a lot of stress, and that's where this mindfulness came involved with me and really helped me through this. I've been teaching mindfulness here at the Colorado Springs Police Department for the last 5 years, and we teach our officers mindfulness because we believe it's an important tool in their tool belt for their mental health. And so today I'm going to guide you through some of the mindfulness things that we teach. This is a 2-hour class, but we're going to give you about a half an hour of just some of the techniques and some of the skills that you can use at home or at work to kind of help you and kind of keep you centered and move away from some of that negativity that really permeated our law enforcement profession in the last year or two. I've been in the policing profession for the last 17 years, and I've seen the emotional and physical toll and mental toll that this profession has taken on myself and some of my friends and colleagues. And so the mindful officer was really designed to help address some of those issues. And one of the first issues that we have is in law enforcement, we deal with trauma every single day. And if you see this, this saying, I wish my head could forget what my eyes have seen. It's one of those things that's really true for me. And so when I was thinking about this and thinking about what we've gone through, I actually wrote this, and I'll read it to you right now. What I've experienced over the last 17 years. Over the last 17 years, I have fallen more in love with the policing profession, but I'm also aware of the mental and physical and emotional toll that it takes. I never thought of myself as wounded. Over the last 5 years, I have taken time to really look into my life to make sure that I was doing everything that I can to properly care for my family, my community, and myself. This came to a head in 2016 when my wife and I had a blessing come into our lives with the birth of our son. This came on the heels of my wife and I suffering a miscarriage. In suffering that loss and feeling angry and alone and thinking that I just needed to suck it up and move on. This was a pivotal moment for me because it allowed me time to really examine all aspects of my life to make sure that I was truly okay. During this time of reflection, I realized that I was indeed one of the walking wounded. I still remember the sights and sounds and smells of a head-on car crash, seeing a female driver of one car burn alive in front of me as my partner and I rushed to the other car. My heart still flutters when I recall working desperately as the intense heat melted parts of our uniform, as we worked to save 4 trapped girls, but sadly not being able to save the life of one. The cries of a mother and father when I told them that their 16-year-old was killed in a car crash. The screams of a man running down the street with blood gushing out of his back from being stabbed in a bar fight. The sounds of gunshots as we were being shot at and my partner taking one of the suspects down. The face and moans of a man who shot himself in front of me. The wailing of a family when I had to tell them that their teenage son killed himself. The tears and anguish of a new mother suffering from postpartum depression as I pulled her off the highway and fell with her to the side of the road as a semi flew past, nearly killing both of us. The tears and shaking of a mother and father as we worked to save their 4-month-old child from an accidental medicine overdose, but were unable to bring him back. Those are just a few of the thousands of moments that have affected my life and my career. Every officer has moments like that each and every day, and they never go away. If you talk with officers and ask them, they will tell you war stories. But if we're honest with ourselves, these are really wounding moments in our lives. As we continue down this road, there will be more moments like this adding to our wounds, pushing us down, making human connections at times feel hard, and bringing stress, sadness, and anger and frustration into our daily lives. I personally thought I had a handle on this. I had outlets, such as competing in Ironman triathlons, running with my dog, hiking with my family, or reading. I thought that was enough. But through my self-reflection, I realized my mind, heart, and emotions were taking an invisible beating, and I needed to do more. And that's where this class came in about, is me just discovering that and then feeling that moment of just separation from people and not feeling like I could talk to anybody about it because I thought I was the only one in this boat. And then I realized when I actually did open up about this and got over that stigma, I found out hundreds of thousands of law enforcement officers are going through this every single day. And those are just the moments in our career that I just talked about. But think about the doors of your life. Each one of those doors comes with a stressor. So for myself, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a brother, and a sergeant. And so all those stresses, if all those doors are open, it's just pounding on me and I can't really do any of those things well. And that frustration from being a father or not being in time with my kid may come out in my work, and I can't have that happen to me. But one of the key things is stress is what's it really doing to us? And one of the things about mindfulness is, I know it doesn't sound like a mindfulness presentation right now because I really talked about the trauma that's impacted my life. But the first thing about mindfulness is acknowledging that trauma and understanding what it's truly doing to us. And can stress kill us? And it can. One of the things with stress is it makes us make poor decisions. We react in the moment. So if you're in a shooting or you're in a traumatic situation, we need to be confident. We need to be able to carry ourselves. And if we're stressed at that moment, we may make the wrong decision that could end our lives or someone else's. So that's why it's extremely important. But the crazy thing is that the stress at home, the stress of our taxes, the stress of our kids, is affecting us just the same as the stress of that trying to take down a violent felon or going to a homicide call. Those stressors, your body doesn't know the difference. In our body, it's really hard for humans to turn that switch off. So that's where mindfulness comes involved. And so thinking about stress, and now we know our everyday life stress, work stress comes involved, but now just taking first responders. We deal with so much trauma in our lives, and we take on everybody else's trauma. In 2019, looking at the first responders' deaths, we lost 147 to line of duty deaths. So that's shootings, traffic crashes, accidents. That's an alarming number for anybody. Also that same year, we lost 228 by their own hands. So clearly we need to do more in this area. Looking at just Colorado, looking at numbers nationwide, but I looked at the Colorado numbers. In 2019, Colorado officers were 55% more likely to die by suicide than they were in the line of duty. If we're continuing to dive deeper into those numbers, in 2019, we were 375% more likely to take our own lives than be shot by somebody and killed on duty. And those numbers are not just Colorado. Those numbers are actually consistent nationwide in the 300 to 400% more likely to take our own lives. So that's why we're doing this. That's why it's important to acknowledge the stress, and we need to do more to take care of ourselves. And really, we can't fix our mental health with duct tape. And so that's where mindfulness comes involved. We can't just patch it up, and we have to take actions for it. As law enforcement, we believe in training. And this is just another part of training that we just neglected over the years that we need to do better. So now moving into what is mindfulness? It's a buzzword that you've probably heard in your departments. You've probably heard it, oh, we needed more mindfulness. But what truly it is, and it's pretty simple. Mindfulness involves paying attention to each event, being present in the moment within your body and mind with a non-judgmental, non-reactive, and accepting attitude. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, where we struggle, of course, is the non-judgmental, non-reactive. That's what we train to do. We judge people. We judge behaviors. So how do we break ourselves from that? You guys are judging me right now. Stop it. I literally just told you, stop judging me. But it's hard. And so it's easy in concept, but what we're going to do is I'm going to guide you through some of the practices we guide our officers through to kind of help break that and get really in the moment. So I just threw a picture of a dog up there. Why? Well, because it looks pretty cute. Yes, it does. Everybody loves dogs. But the reason I put a dog up there and not a cat, well, cats are evil and they will attack you at any moment. You just never know what they're plotting. But honestly, dogs, they really live in the moment. And that's what we want to be more like. The dog doesn't care what you did all day at work. It doesn't care what we're going to do in the future. It literally cares that you're home right now and you're present with them. And that's what the key to mindfulness is. It seems easy, but it's really hard in practice. So that's what we're going to kind of go through. And as we get into mindfulness, I think it's important that we acknowledge the stress and what it's doing to us, right? The stress of everyday life, of high stress situation and calls. It's increasing our cortisol levels. You know, it's causing heart disease. It's causing all these other issues. And what does mindfulness do? A simple few breathing techniques. It literally can reduce all that negative stress that you had throughout your workday, throughout your personal day. A simple deep breath can actually reverse all that negative energy, all that negative effects. It's actually been proven that mindfulness techniques can reduce cortisol levels. So it can help prevent heart disease. And we've seen that in our profession, right? How many people retire in a year after retirement, they've passed away or they died because of heart disease or some other ailment. Because all that stress was building up through all those years and they did nothing to address it. And then finally, when they do have the ability to address it, it's too late. Their body has already taken that toll. The other cool thing is, it's not just for hippies. And I'll tell you that a couple times, and it's really important. A few techniques I'm going to teach you right now is really powerful because one mindfulness can do, it can slow the release of adrenaline in your system. And that's critical in high stress moments for us law enforcement, or when you're in a moment of a personal crisis. If you can reduce that adrenaline or reduce that and slow it down, you can actually be more focused, more present, making more tactically sound decisions. Because if you get that huge adrenaline dump, yes, it feels great. But we know if you train, it comes with auditory exclusion, it comes with tunnel vision. And so you're actually not making the best decisions with that adrenaline. You think, I'm going to live off the adrenaline. You're actually not helping yourself. You're actually making more reactive decisions. And so if we can reduce that adrenaline rush, it can be pretty powerful. So we've already done our first mindfulness technique, which you may not know that you've done it, but it's acknowledging stress. Acknowledging that our jobs are hard and they take a mental and physical toll. So this next technique I want to go to is this someone to think about when you got in this profession? What did you think this profession was about? Were you a glass half full or a glass half empty? Most everybody probably is a glass half full. I don't think I've ever interviewed somebody who's like, I want to get into police work because it's going to kill me. They get into police work because they want to help people, and that's what we need to focus on. But to do that, we need to think, what is this job taken from you? And I've talked to my officers in teaching this class, and some of the things they come up with is time, a nice schedule, right? How many people remember midnights for years before you can get off it? And when you finally see the light of day, it hurts. The good thing is you save a lot on money and sunblock, but it definitely takes a mental and physical toll. Your hair, clearly there's a lot of bald cops out there, sorry, but that's what they say it takes from you. Relationships. How many people can you have a normal relationship anymore? Some of my officers have lost marriages. They also lost their friends because of the profession they choose. It can be pretty devastating to lose people that you've been close to your whole life. And now, just think about last year. Flip the switch, they just leave. That can be pretty challenging. So one of the things a lot of officers say is it's taking peace in their innocence. And I always find that very striking because when I think about it, it's taken that from me as well. I can never go to a large community event without being a little bit paranoid. My wife knows that. I can't go to a restaurant without sitting so I'm facing the door so I can see, and I have an action plan for every time I go out for my family. And it used to be really nice to have that innocence, right? And that kind of living in that bubble. And that's what we do for people. We give them that, but we lose it ourselves. And it can be pretty hard. And then just like this last year, right? It was so challenging because one day we're heroes, the next day we're villains. And this job takes a lot from us. And it can be devastating and hard, and it can take our lives in more than one way. And so now you're like, wow, this is horrible. How is this mindfulness? Now we want to flip that page over and say, what is this job given to you? And think about what this job has truly given you. When I talk to officers about what this job has given them, I get gratitude. They're grateful for life. They also gratitude because they're grateful for when they see, we go into some pretty tough situations and you're like, wow, I'm so blessed for what I have in my own life. And that's very powerful. It also financial stability. A lot of departments, we still have pensions. And that's a pretty powerful thing that most professions don't have. And that's why I want to get that. I want all of you to live past retirement so you can enjoy that financial stability later in life. Also confidence. I can walk into any room and talk to anybody. It's a pretty powerful thing. I can talk to a guy on the side of the street for half an hour about nothing. I've never met him in my life. But it's just that confidence of being able to control a situation, to be able to talk to people. And a couple other things is lifelong friendships and a family. What other profession besides the military that the guy, even if you're not happy with them, your partner, that day, they'll give their life for you. And I will give my life for them. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty cool. A couple other things is purpose. And remember that this job is a noble profession. It's powerful that anything I can say, the things I can do and help, I can make a difference in someone's lives and I can change that path, that direction that they were going in. And that's pretty powerful. The most rewarding moment of my career was after a sex assault suspect was convicted of rape, and the victim came up and just hugged me because she said, "You're the first person to ever truly listen to me." That drives me. That's the purpose, right? We don't need awards and that. I just realized that I was there for her, and that's why I got into the profession. And when I go home, I know my son's going to be proud of me. I'm a police officer, and it's one of the things that I'm doing that I'm so proud of is being a cop. And I can't think of any other profession that you get such rewarding in how you can have such an impact on so many people's lives by being an officer. So that's our first mindfulness technique. If you go to work every day thinking about what this job has taken from you, you will be that negative person. You will go down that path. And we've seen officers like that. At times we may be that officer, and that's okay. But we need to really flip that. What is this job given to you? This job is given to purpose. When you go to work every day thinking about that, you'll go out and serve the community with that more positive attitude. And that's the first mindfulness technique that I can really give to you. It's really powerful. It seems at times cheesy, but remember, it really helps you. And you've seen that probably in your own lives when you think about the positives. And so that's that's one technique that we use here at the Colorado Springs Police Department. And it's also a great technique for recruiting and retention, right? Stop focusing on what this job has taken from you and why people leave, and saying, why are you staying? Why are hundreds of thousands of cops in 2021 staying? Because there's a purpose, there's a calling. And that's a truly powerful mindfulness technique that we can go into. So another mindfulness technique we're going to talk about is monotasking. And what the heck is monotasking, right? I always ask all my rookie officers, or when I was a training officer, or now when I'm a sergeant, when I get on shift, I'm like, how good are you at monotasking? And they're like, they just stare at me with this blank stare. And I guess everybody out there, have any of you ever been asked, are you a good monotasker? Probably not, right? We always ask, are you a good multitasker? But in reality, I want good monotaskers in law enforcement, because we can people think they can multitask. You really don't. Your brain just switches from one activity to the next. And if you're focused on 7 different things, or let's take the doors of life, right? If all those doors of my life, the father, son, brother, husband, sergeant, if they're all open, can I do any of those well? No, I'm probably giving a little bit of effort in each one, and I'm neglecting some areas. And we've seen that. That's why we lose relationships. And so I need to be able to try to force those other doors closed and focus on one thing at a time. Let's take it to your personal life. If you're out at dinner, or you're on a date, or you're with your wife, or your partner, and they're talking about something serious, and you're like, hold on a minute, and you check your phone, that takes away from that relationship, and we've seen that. And so it's just a matter of just doing one thing at a time and doing it really well. And so if you can, I encourage you, put that phone down. And that's the first practice I want to do. Just enjoy one dinner a week or 2 dinners a week where you just focus. My son and I do this, and we literally laid in bed the other night, and we just talked about what we had taken on a deserted island. What was it, like a piece of pizza or milk? And we had the best conversation because I just focused on him, and he saw me in that moment, and I saw him, and it was just a great moment. But our connection becomes stronger every time we do that. So thinking about as a supervisors, one of the things I challenge you to is, if an officer comes into your office, if you have time for them, make time for them. Ignore the phone, ignore the computers. And if you don't, tell them to go away, because I guarantee every single one of you listening and watching this out there, you remember walking to the supervisor's office or just needing somebody to listen to you at the moment because it was a hard call or a challenging call. And it's pretty damn frustrating when somebody isn't there for you, and they're like, hold on. And that's where we need to do better in law enforcement. We got to take care of ourselves and look out for each other. And the also good thing is, taking it from a perspective too, is for domestic violence or sex assault, that first officer, if they're present in the moment, truly listening, that can drive that case. So people get frustrated about domestic violence or sex assaults because we don't know. But what happens is, oh, you're telling me a traumatic story about being sexually assaulted or something, or domestic violence? Hold on. Yeah, hey, can you go do this? You can't do that. It impacts the quality of service we're providing. It takes away from that victim. So think about monotasking. If I do a sex assault interview, I literally turn my radio off and I have another officer guard the door and say, hey, you can handle that. So I can focus and I can actually truly listen, because when you're listening and you're actually hearing what they're saying, sometimes you get more of the story. And sometimes they're not telling you exactly what happened, but they are telling you, but through different channels. So monotasking is extremely important. It can help create our personal relationships even stronger, but I guarantee it will make you a stronger and better cop out there on the street, and a great supervisor if you can truly just listen to people and put the other tasks aside. The next thing we're going to talk about, this next technique, is something that you probably learned in the academy when you were going out shooting, is tactical breathing. Seems pretty simple in concept. Maybe at the range you wanted to focus on your breathing because you want to steady out your gun and do that. We talk about it a lot when you first get in the force, but we kind of forget about it and how powerful that method can be. Tactical breathing is super simple. You're going to breathe in for a 4 count, you're going to hold it for a 4 count, and you're going to breathe out for a 4 count, and you're going to pause for a 4 count. That's it. Very simple, but a very powerful tool. So I want you to practice with me. So first we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose, we're going to hold it, breathe out through our mouth, pause, and we're going to do that a couple times. So practice with me. Take a deep breath in, and hold, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. 2, 3, and that's pause. Let's do it again. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and hold, and breathe out. do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. And hold. And breathe out. That's it. If you're still watching this and you haven't passed out, you've passed that portion of the class, great. It's always my final test for my mindfulness class. But that's tactical breathing. So think about what you're doing with that breathing. Were you thinking about taxes? No. Were you thinking about the next call for service? Were you thinking about your spouse, your kids, the finance struggles? No. You were thinking and focusing on breathing. It's a very simple technique that's very powerful. The cool thing is that little technique that you did just right there can reverse all the negative effects of the last call for service or that argument that you just had with your partner. And think about how powerful it is of just taking that one breath. Okay, you think more clearly. It slows your brain down. It slows the release of adrenaline. So that's tactical breathing. Very simple, very easy technique. And guess what? Nobody has to know you're doing it. It's just breathing. And the next thing is, it's not just for hippies. So I'm going to show you this video. This video is from Oregon. So this was in 2016, Christmas. Trooper Nick Cederberg has been shot 12 times and is laying there bleeding out. So what happens is Trooper Cederberg gets in a pursuit with a suspect from King City who just killed his wife. They call it out over the radio. Trooper Cederberg happens to be up in this is in Portland metro area, sees the vehicle and gets in a pursuit with it. So the pursuit goes down south on Highway 99 in Oregon, right outside of Portland, through 12th, through Tiger, 12th and Sherwood area. And now they're just south of Sherwood, Oregon. Trooper the suspect actually turned and rammed Trooper Cederberg, and there's a shooting that happened. The officers arriving on scene are coming into the area, and they don't know if Trooper Cederberg is alive or what. They need to get to that car. So I want you to watch this video and think about the breathing. So listen to the officers as they team up, and they're going to move towards, they don't know where the suspect is, they don't know where Trooper Cederberg is, but they need to get there to save his life or to see what they can do for him. So listen as the officers approach the car and approach Trooper Cederberg. Listen to the breathing and kind of see what's going on, and we'll talk a little bit more about that after the video.
Your house. Get in the house and lock the door. Pay attention. You're on shield here. Someone hits that car hard. I've got the car. Hey, let's go. Somebody watch my left side up here. Got your left. Can you see in the car? Got your left. Nobody. I can't see. Get that shield up. Get that shield up. Are you ready? Are you ready? I need someone on my right over here. Okay, hold on. Alright, deep breath, everybody. Okay. Someone got the woods? I got the woods. Okay, I'm taking off. I'm going to drag him out. I got the woods. Hey, he's right there! Right there! Right there!
So as you can see from that video, pretty intense situation. So the suspect was literally waiting there, hiding in the bushes with his gun pointed at those officers. And he's already shot Trooper Cederberg. But if you listen to the officer's breathing, he was taking short, shallow breaths. The other officer recognized that and said, hey, deep breaths, everyone. That one breath was enough to slow the release of adrenaline, to steady out his firearm, and they addressed the threat. So yes, this may not be for you sitting and doing a deep meditation, but I will tell you this will save your lives in more ways than one. Trooper Cederberg did survive this situation. Those officers are heroes. I was proud to say that I was a member of the Sherwood Police Department before I came to Colorado Springs. My heart goes out to all of them, and Trooper Cederberg, as you continue to recover, our thoughts and prayers are always with you. But it's not just for hippies. It could save your life. Those officers recognized that in the moment. The other officers said, take a deep breath. Think about any tactical situation you've ever been in, or any high stress situation you've ever been in. I guarantee there's an officer that's not breathing. There's probably an officer that's holding their breath. There's an officer that's breathing shallow. So anytime I get on scene as a supervisor, I always say, hey, let's take a deep breath. Okay, now we're ready to move. So that's why tactical breathing is critically important. It's not just for the hippies. And one of the things is that if you don't have time to do that tactical breathing, or just that one breath that we saw in that last video is important. And this is a great video that will show you what meditation truly is. Sometimes we have a misconception about meditation. And So I want to play this video for you, and it will show you exactly what meditation is and how we can incorporate it into our lives pretty easily.
We can meditate everywhere, anytime, even 3 seconds, 2 seconds, while you're walking, while you're having coffee and tea, while you're having meeting, so you can meditate. Many people has a little bit misunderstanding about meditation. They think meditation meaning think of nothing, concentrate. So push too much. So we cannot block thought and emotion. In fact, we need thought and emotion. So whether you listen to your monkey mind or not, there's an issue. What I call monkey mind is chatting, pala 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 yada yada. So monkey mind is giving you opinion. So whether you listen to opinion or not, it's up to you, right? So through meditation, what we do is we have to make friends with the monkey mind. But how to make friends? Just giving banana doesn't work, So right method is you need to give job to monkey mind. How to give job monkey mind? So the simple meditation technique is be aware of the breath. So you ask monkey mind, hello, what's breath? So monkey mind says, yeah, good idea. And be aware of breath. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. There's a lot of thought comes at the background. Don't care, no problem. So as long as if you're not forget your breath, anything's okay. No need too much concentration. Just simply be aware of your breath. Breathe in, out, in. Even 2 breath, 1 breath. So therefore, we can meditate everywhere, anytime.
So I really like that video because it really simplifies it for us. It makes it, I always say, for me as a cop, I just needed simple guidance, and that makes meditation so much easier for me. I always thought it was sitting up in the mountains, taking 20 minutes, and it's not. It can be that simple breath. So think about using that in between calls for service. You're going from one high stress situation to the next. All right, slow down, because you want to make sure you're there, you're present, and you're focused. And so, because we don't get the luxury of after this call's over, I can go back and de-stress for half an hour. No, we have to be on to the next one. So we have to be present for them too. So for our communities and for ourselves, the great thing is that when we practice these techniques and we take that one breath, it benefits our community, but it also benefits us. We're slowly taking care of ourselves and providing ourselves some of that release, that reduction in stress. So I'm going to guide you through one more mindfulness practice that we teach here at the Colorado Springs Police Department. And this one's going to take you into actually a deeper meditation. So it may not be your cup of tea, but I just urge you to just give it a chance and try it and see if it's something that may work for you. So we're going to take a few minutes to practice just being, to bring some mental clarity into your life. Enjoy this opportunity to take a few moments for yourself. To get started, allow your feet to be flat on the floor. Find a relaxed, comfortable position seated in your chair. Keep your back upright, but not too tight. Hands resting wherever they're comfortable. Now, I know this is a struggle for all cops, but now gently close your eyes. And you can notice your body from the inside, noticing the shape of your body, the weight, and let yourself relax. Seated here, let's settle in for a few deep, relaxing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Make these breaths long and slow. As you breathe, see if you can feel both your chest and belly rising and falling at the same time. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can let out an audible sigh on the exhale if it feels right to you. With each breath, imagine crystal clear oxygen filling your lungs. With each exhale, feel the tension leaving your body. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's take a few more of these breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe in, think about the stress that impacts your life. It could be work, money, or family. Bring those stressors to the front of your thoughts. And as you breathe out, acknowledge them and let them go. Again, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you breathe out, let another stressor go. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And now bring your breathing back to normal and tune into your breath in your body. Feel the natural flow of breath. And notice where you feel your breath in your body. It might be in your abdomen, it may be in your chest or your throat, or in your nostrils. See if you can feel or hear the sensation of breath, one breath at a time. When one breath ends, the next breath begins. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Now as you do this, you might notice that your mind start to wander. You might start thinking about things in the room, stressors in your life. If this happens, this is not a problem. It's very natural. Just acknowledge them and let them go, and then gently direct your attention right back to breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. So we'll stay with this for a few moments in silence. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Noticing our breath from time to time, getting lost in thought and returning to our breath. And once again, you can notice your body, your whole body seated here. Let yourself relax even more deeply. Now shifting your attention back to your body, to feel the weight in your chair, your hands resting, feet on the floor, and in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe, take a moment to let the benefits of mindfulness settle in. Offer yourself some appreciation for doing this practice today. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you feel comfortable, slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back. You might feel like jumping up and getting on with your day, or you may feel like taking a nap. Just let yourself be. This is a really good time to reflect on anything special that you might have thought about during meditation. Did you find it calming or relaxing? Or maybe you felt a bit restless, wondering when the heck it was going to be over. Don't worry if it was a bit challenging, or you found you were drifting off, or you're having trouble keeping your eyes closed. That's natural, especially if this is the first time you've ever done any type of meditation or mindfulness. It's really normal to find it frustrating. Early on, people think they're not good at mindfulness or meditation, or they're not doing it right. The good thing is there's no right or wrong way to do it. And also remember that mindfulness and meditation is a skill. It's just like riding a bike, but I guarantee once you find your balance, you'll never look back. So that is a little bit of a deeper meditation, just guiding you through, but think about that meditation. It was just a couple minutes, and we forgot about all the stresses in the world. All we were is focusing on breathing. And what it does is there's apps out there, there's other things that we can do to kind of guide you through, but if you can do that right before you go to sleep or get rid of the stress of the day, it's a very powerful tool. And you can do that just once a week, or a lot of guys now in our department do it right before they go to bed. They just guide themselves through. The best compliment I got was from like a 25-year veteran, and he was all grumpy and didn't want to do mindfulness, and he's like, man, that was like the best nap I've ever had. And the thing is, he actually wanted me to record it so he could listen to that at night, so he could go through that and get started with some of the stress. And he continues to this day, this is several years after that, still practicing that and listening to those meditations, because he found it such a benefit to him. But one of the things that's just a small segment of what we do here, but if you start to feel overwhelmed, there's no shame in that. Take a step back, take a breath and breathe. Beat the job, don't let it beat you. And that's really what I can offer you this. And if you have questions or want more of this, feel free. I'll have my contact information at the end of this. Please reach out to the Colorado Springs Police Department, because we will provide this to anybody. It's a very powerful training, so it's just a great thing to do. I encourage you, if you want more information about mindfulness or some more practices, I have a whole list of different practices that you can do. Just simple 2 to 3 minute practices that you can do every single day that can kind of help guide you and get you into this. But I just want to thank you for taking the time watching this video today, and I really encourage anybody to make this a tool in your toolbox or in your department's toolbox, because our job is to go out there and protect everybody every single day. But before we can do that, we have to look out after ourselves. We have to protect ourselves and take care of ourselves. So again, thank you everybody. Continue to fight the good fight. Continue to be out there doing exactly what we're doing, is holding that line. And remember that policing is a noble profession. I am extremely proud to say I'm a police officer. And for the last 17 years, I've never been more prouder than this moment right now. And we need to continue to move that forward and remember why we're doing this profession. So if you want to reach out to me, my contact information is there. Again, on behalf of the Colorado Springs Police Department here in beautiful Colorado Springs, which we're always hiring, thank you so much, and take care and be safe.
Thank you for joining us today for our Wake Up, Workout, and Get Healthy program sponsored by 511 Tactical. It's important for us at the National Law Enforcement Memorial to keep names off the wall, and we'll continue to work with our Destination Zero program and officer safety and wellness initiatives to keep officers physically fit